All right, so last week we had a video over compound interest. Today we're going to look a little bit at simple interest, which we looked at before spring break, but we're also going to look at some comparisons. So we have an example. I'm going to talk about it. I want to first go over what each of the variables stood for in case you forgot those. So A stands for our total. This is going to be our principal plus our interest. P stands for our principal. That's the money that's either being invested, the money that's being saved, or the money that's being borrowed. It's whatever I'm starting off with. Rate is going to be a percent that we have to change to a decimal. And T is time. And this is always going to be in years. If it's given to you in months, you're going to have to figure out what that is in a year. We don't have any of those to look at today, but just in case that ever pops up. Okay, so we're going to look at making decisions with interest. So let's look at, I have one example. We're going to talk through it, kind of go over some other kind of things that you may see. So Colby is buying a very expensive prom dress. Her dress costs $700. To buy the dress, she takes it out a loan to pay for the dress. Bank A is charging simple interest rate of 7% and wants her to pay it back in 3 years. So we want to know how much interest and how much the dress is going to cost in all. So we're going to be using our simple interest formula. So we look at the top, and our simple interest formula is I equals PRT. I'm going to start working it up here at the top just because, again, I'm writing with my finger, which doesn't always show up great, but just go with me. All right, so I don't have an interest, so I'm going to keep my I. My principal is what I'm starting off with. It's either what she borrowed or what she's investing or saving, and she's borrowing $700. My rate is 7%, but I have to change it to a decimal, so it's 0.07. In my last video, I briefly talked about how to change it to its decimal, so 0.07. And then my time here is 3, and I know I'm like writing on words. Sorry, it doesn't give me much space. So this is where my calculator comes in. I'm going to do 700 times 0.03 times 0.07 times 3. And I get I equals 147. And I'm writing it down here at the bottom. So my I equals 147 because it goes with my problem. So to find my total, remember my total is my principal plus my interest. So my A is going to be that 147 plus the 700. So she's going to be paying $847 for that dress by the end of it, because she's going to have to pay the $700 back she borrowed, plus she has to pay $147 just in interest, just to borrow the money. All right, let's look at the second example. So Colby is buying a very expensive prom dress. Her dress costs $700. To buy the dress, she takes out a loan to pay for the dress. Bank B, so everything's the same except for now we have a different bank. And Bank B is charging a compound interest rate of 5%. So it's a smaller interest rate, but they want the loan paid back in 2 years instead of 3 years. So here we're looking at two different kinds of interest. We're comparing simple interest and compound interest, but we're also looking at two different interest rates and two different times. So we're going to use our compound interest rate. So A equals P1 plus R to the T power. Okay. So I don't know my A. I don't know my total yet. We're going to have to figure that out in a little bit. My principal is the same. I'm still starting off with $700 that she has to borrow. But my rate's going to be a little bit different. My rate this time is 5%. Change it to a decimal, so 0.05. Sorry if you hear cars driving by. I'm sitting outside working. And to the T, and my T this time was 2, and that might cut off a little bit up there. It is. All right, so So again, I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to do the 1 plus the 0.105. I want to do my parentheses first. So 1 plus 0.05 is 1.05. I want to square that. And then I want to multiply that number times 700. And I get an A, I'm going to write it down here again, because we're going to be comparing this to a little bit, of $771.75. Now remember, that's my total, so it's working backwards from the way simple interest. Simple interest gave us our interest, then we found our total. Compound interest gives us our total, and now we have to work backwards to find our interest. So we're going to do $771.75 minus the $700. And she's going to pay an interest of $71.75. All right, so with Bank A, she paid a total of $847 for that dress. When you talk about she paid $700 plus that interest. With Bank B, she's going to pay $771.75 for that dress because she's going to pay the $700, but the interest is $71.75. So then the next question, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll, there we go. So our next question is, should Colby get her loan for the dress from Bank A or B? So this is where each problem is going to be a little bit different later. First of all, some of them are going to have two interest problems, simple interest. Some of them are going to have compounds and simple. And then I think one of them has compound and compound. So be sure to read what kind of interest, because we're also practicing going back and forth between those two concepts, simple interest and compound interest. And then since she borrowed money here, when I borrow money, I want to pay back as little as possible. Okay, so in this case, she's borrowing money. So which bank do I want to borrow the money from? Bank A, where I'm going to pay $847 back, or Bank B, where I'm going to pay $771? I'm going to choose A. The reason I chose A, because it's $771 versus Bank A. Oh, sorry, I did that backwards. It should be Bank B. Sorry, I'm so sorry if that confused you briefly. Bank B, sorry, because it's cheaper with Bank B. Okay, I'll explain that again since I messed up writing it down. Bank A total was $847 for the dress. Bank B's total was $771.75. So Bank B is going to be cheaper in the long run. So let's explain how you made your choice. So my choice is that in the long run, B saved me money. So then I ask, how much money did she save by choosing B? And so that's where I say, okay, well, I had $847 that I was going to pay at Bank A. Bank B was going to charge me $771.75. Sorry, and I told you decimals are really hard to write on here. Okay, I'm going to erase that, but I'm going to find the difference of those two. Because I'm asking how much I'm saving. So $847 minus $771.75 is going to be a saving $75.25. Again, decimals won't write. There we go. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at different problems, and you're going to be finding the interest rate, finding the interest from both of them, finding the total for both, and then saying, okay, which bank should I choose? Now, in the real world, it's not usually this big of a difference. Here's the assignments. So this one, David's taking out a loan for college. So, of course, I'm going to want to pay back the least amount of money. Mally sold her cake, and she's putting her money into savings for the second one. And so when I'm talking about savings, I want the most to be in my savings account. So when I'm looking at paying back money, I want it to be the smallest amount of money. Think about it reasonably. If I am paying someone back money, I want to pay back the least amount I possibly can. But if I'm putting money in a savings account, I want the biggest amount in a savings account. So Mally here is going to choose the bank that gives her the most money. Okay, so you have to pay attention to the situation. Liz is borrowing money. So again, she's going to be looking at when she borrows money, she's going to want to pay back the least amount. And then the last problem I gave you is Keaton is saving money. And again, when saving money, you're going to want the most in your savings account. Also, Keaton's is compound and compound. So both those are going to be compound. Liz's is simple and simple. So I'm going to use my simple formula for both of those. Mally's is a compound and a simple. So I'm going to do both formulas. And David's is also compound and simple. So pay attention to the interest rate. Pay attention to whether I want the most in that account or do I want to pay back the least. All right, that's all. I'll be on Zoom to answer questions. Of course, email, texting, I'm also there. All right.